You're listening to the My Simplified Life podcast, and this is episode number 80. Welcome to the My Simplified Life podcast, a place where you will learn that your past and even your present don't define your future. Regardless of what stage of life you're in, I want you to feel inspired and encouraged to pursue your dreams, simplify your life, and start taking action today. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac, and I'm excited to share my stories and life lessons with you while taking you on my own journey. This is My Simplified Life. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Michelle Glogovac. I have to say that after last week's interview with Lewis, I wasn't quite sure how to follow up on an episode that was so powerful and a conversation that I thought was so perfect. This got me thinking about the overall year we've had and what it's meant for me and done for me. This week, I'll be getting my second shot, and next week, my son will finally attend in-person school for the first time, not just this school year, but the first time in his life. Here in California, we are seeing businesses open back up, and by June, we hope to see a bit more normalcy, albeit nothing like what we knew normal to look like in the past. The past 13 months have been a blessing and a curse. I didn't realize how much we actually left the house before until we could no longer leave the house. My kids have had very few adventures outside of our neighborhood, and they have been absolute frickin' troopers. It's not easy to explain to tiny humans why they suddenly can't see their friends, play on playgrounds, or where the first day of school is going to be via a WebEx link instead of meeting their new friends on the playground. But they did it, and we all survived. This past year, I've allowed myself to focus on me, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I recruited the help of others in the form of a therapist and a trainer. I stopped overlooking my past and started addressing it and listening to it. I started to give my body the movement it needed and deserved, the food it craved, and I've drank more water than there is in the ocean, I think. I started journaling daily, reading a devotional again after setting it aside for years. I stopped working most Fridays and stopped taking calls on Mondays and Fridays. The funniest part is that I truly haven't had any time to myself at all in over a year, yet I found time to make all of these things happen. My quiet moments come at 5 a.m. with a cup of coffee and at 7 p.m. when the kids go to bed and I reflect on my day on the hallway floor. No, we still have not broken that habit, but secretly I kind of enjoy it. I like to pull out my 6-minute journal. I've upgraded from the 5-minute journal, and going through my daily accomplishments and shortfalls and deciding on how I'll do better tomorrow. I've recognized that I'm not a perfect person, and I'm okay with that. I was never meant to be a mom who homeschools her kids, and although I never really questioned myself around that choice, this past year has assured me that I made the right decision in not becoming a teacher or a homeschooling mom. What I have enjoyed, though, is seeing my son learn right in front of my eyes. It's literally witnessing a miracle happen before you as your child learns to read on their own, do math, and that's when it hits you that just years before you had this tiny human who depended on you for everything, and slowly they become self-sufficient and take all that you've shown them as life skills and are actually using them and growing from them. I've yelled too much this year, but I've also been a much more present and in-the-moment mom. Instead of park days, we started taking walks. Oh my goodness, the endless walks. Right now, we're up to 25 miles a week. I walk, they ride their bikes, but that's how we start every morning and end every afternoon. And now as the nights are getting lighter, we often see a third time around the block in the neighborhood. There's always singing, sometimes and usually it's Christmas songs, storytelling, we check out other houses, and we've been meeting new neighbors. I'd like to think that I'm a good neighbor, but in all honesty, it took this pandemic for me to start to get to know my neighbors, and we've lived here for 7 years. Yes, that's sad, but I think that might actually be normal with how much we have going on, all of us. This year, we've watched our local fire engine come down our court 3 times. Twice, an ambulance took neighbors away, only for us to realize that we never got the chance to actually say goodbye to them. It's been an awakening of how much more present I want to be in the lives of my neighbors, and we've since done a lot of baking and delivering goodies to doorsteps. We've had happy hours in the driveway, put a gate in the backyard fence so our kids could play with the kids directly behind us. We've had a few outdoor dinners and movie nights. We've gotten to know our neighbors, exchange cell phone numbers, alert one another when we see things going on in the neighborhood that are suspicious, exchange lemons, leave chalk drawings for each other, and we've gotten into morning routines of saying hi to one another. The pandemic has not only brought me closer to my neighbors, but to my core group of friends as well. We have friends who are couples that we get together with quite frequently, but it has been in this pandemic that we created a group text of just us women. We've bonded like we hadn't before and supported one another on a new level, and it's in seeing this what true friendship really means. I'm extremely blessed that I've worked remotely for so long, so there was no major pivot on that front. This year was to be the year in which I'd have kids in school and actual focused time on my work, but that's been pushed another year. I'd be lying if I didn't admit I was originally bummed about this, but like I said before, it's been a blessing in disguise to be able to witness my son's growth firsthand. I had been hoping to have more in-person time with clients, events, and simply to have the ability to travel again. But instead, I've relied on our good friends, the internet, and social media, and this past year has brought the most amazing human beings in my life. If we had all been able to travel, then chances are I might not have gotten to meet these people, because book tours would have been in person instead of relying so much on podcasts. Events would have been filled with hundreds of people instead of allowing me actual one-on-one time with so many. I've gotten to share my conversations with people who were strangers and have become friends. Yes, I share these conversations with all of you, but there's also conversations before and after hitting record in which I get to know others on a personal level. I don't take this for granted for a single second, and I still do a happy dance in my chair when I get a yes to someone saying they want to do an interview with me. I still pinch myself that people will take the time out of their day to talk to me and share their stories with me so that I can learn from them. That's got to be one of the greatest gifts I've received this year. When I think about the gifts I've received within my business, I've been beyond blessed to be working with incredible people who are doing something to change the world and create positive impact. I started offering traditional PR, expanding from podcast pitching, and I've gotten to recognize that this was definitely a move I was supposed to make. Not to go tooting my own horn, but in the past year, I've gotten clients into Pop Sugar, Insider, Mind Body Green, Hello Giggles, Huffington Post, Yahoo Life, and more. I've gotten to hire an intern and give myself more time for me, while also getting the opportunity to work with a young woman who wants to learn from me. That is such an honor in and of itself. Yes, there have been tons of blessings and silver linings this year, but I can't forget the moments of sadness and outrage that we've all witnessed and experienced this past year, and we continue to see happening in our country. I do wonder if we would have paid as much attention if we hadn't been in a pandemic. So from that standpoint, I'm grateful that our eyes have been opened more than ever before. I'm grateful for the stories and experiences that people have shared with me and that I've been able to listen to. I may not have firsthand experience or knowledge of what others have gone through, but what I can do is listen and hold space in my heart, my mind, and my life for all of them. We can all do this, and I know that once we hold more space for others, our world will become a better place. I'm extremely grateful to no longer have the worry and stress hanging over me of what would happen to me or my family if we'd gotten COVID. As someone with asthma, I can tell you that my worry has run deep this past year with all the what ifs that I've asked myself. There's a huge sense of relief in my heart and my head, knowing that we made it through this year, and personally, I feel that I've become a better person because of it. This year, I've learned from my past, and I've decided on what I want for my future. You are in charge of what's to come. You get to make those decisions. take some time to reflect on this past year and what you've gotten out of it. Look for the silver linings and cherish them. As always, my friends, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy.